of Prime Minister's questions, which we will bring you, but we'll bring you the Fiesta stories too. This is an important story, and many of you will be able to connect, I'm sure. Access to the internet. I think most of us would agree it's pretty essential. Group of MPs is worried that a number of people are being priced out of being able to afford online access. Therefore, they're being locked out of access to vital services. According to the latest data from the broadcasting regulator Ofcom, nearly 1 in 3, or 8 million households in the UK, are struggling to pay for their communication services, phone bills, broadband, television services. Darren Jones is the chair of the Data Poverty Group in Parliament. He's the Labour MP for Bristol North. With me now. Darren, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
I listened to this statistic and I'm shocked. 2, I'm really concerned because it's basic services such as being able to access your GP or, queries online. What is the situation and why was the group set up?
Well, the group was set up because this issue got a lot of focus during the pandemic when all of our kids needed to do their schooling online, and it turned out there were lots of children who didn't have access to the internet at home or didn't have sufficient access to be able to take part in their classes. And we really wanted to make sure that that debate wasn't lost just as the pandemic came to an end, because the problems still exist. And so we set up this cross-party group on data poverty, and we published our first State of the Nation report week, which highlighted that there are millions of people across the country that can't get online, which means they can't access their banking, they can't look at emails, they can't take up a video consultation with the GP, they can't access government services. And often these people are people who actually need to help get access to that support and help from government. So we've been calling on ministers, former and new, to make sure that this maintains, exactly, but we've written it up for whoever needs to read it to try to maintain this as a priority, because it can be fixed. And we've set out a number of things they can do to help millions of people across the country.
Give me 3 of those things.
Well, the first thing is that we need a social tariff. We talk a lot about this in terms of energy bills at the moment, but of course, for your broadband connection at home, if you can't afford to pay what is often quite expensive, if you want a good quality connection, it could be £30-40 a month, you just don't have that online access. And so we think there needs to be a more widely available social tariff for people so that it costs less than £15, ideally more around £10. And we can do that by working with the internet companies and also making sure that VAT is not charged on social tariffs, because we think it's an essential item, not a luxury item that should be taxed. And we think more should be done to help people in the same way that we have access to food banks. There's a national data bank which is provided by one of our partners called the Good Things Foundation, working with some of the mobile companies, where you can get vouchers for data access on your mobile if you're not able to afford to pay for that. Because of course at the moment, if you can't afford to pay your energy bills and you can't afford to buy the food that you need, of course, one of the things that drops off pretty quickly is your online access.
Hafsa Sheikh is from Get Families Talking, which is a community organisation based in Birmingham, and it teaches people digital and communication skills. Hafsa, hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Data poverty, what does that look like?
It's massive. Bear in mind, in Birmingham, we're based in Birmingham, and our organisation, Get Families Talking, we work with some of the most disadvantaged and deprived communities. And we see families who are struggling to contact their GP, as you've just heard. We have families who have dyslexia. If you have dyslexia, it really stops the world from happening around you. But we've got one lady with dyslexia, and she manages to work, she manages to hold her life together, all because she's got a dyslexia app on her phone. And through this, she can navigate her life, and she can actually hold down a full-time job as well. We've got people who can't bank online. If you can't bank online, you don't have immediate access to knowing exactly how much money you have in your bank account. So how can you manage your finances? We've heard about the cost of living crisis. All the loyalty cards are online. How do you save money? Can't get online. Helping your family, children with homework, all of that. Online homework, online skills. Even looking for a job, doing your CV, sending off for a job is now all online.
So what are the tariffs at the moment? What are the tariffs at the moment, the lowest tariffs that people can pay or have access to?
Well, the lowest tariff you could probably pick up for about £10, but that's not the point, Naga. It's not about the quality of the food. It's about is sufficient for your needs. And that's exactly what we have with data. The data that your family has, is it sufficient to meet your needs? We've got families who are rationing their data usage. So we've got people who know that they have to speak to their GP at the end of the month. They've got to go online and order repeat prescriptions. So they save their data for that. That's what we mean by that. So it as we've heard, this is essential. It's gone beyond that point where it was a nice to have. It's not that anymore. This is essential. People need this to live.
Darren, why isn't it essential service? I mean, I thought access to the internet was part of, the basket of goods that we get every month, and it's you see how the basket of goods has gone up, the inflation-related basket. I thought it was in there.
Well, it is for inflation, but I think for things like VAT purposes and the way in which government considers what is an essential item, we're just all a bit out of date. I mean, a long time ago, having a landline was seen as being essential, and BT, as the main supplier of landlines back then, was required to have a social tariff for a landline so that you could call people on the telephone or access emergency services. That's actually evolved into a broadband product now with BT, and many people on Universal Credit, for example, don't know they can access a social tariff with BT. They can get out of their existing contract without paying a charge in order to access that social tariff. And we've actually been able to secure a kind of technical change with the government, which means it's much easier now to be able to buy that social tariff through BT's call centres or their website, whereas before you had to fill out paperwork and get the DWP to give you a stamp, and basically it was just too much of a pain for many people to do. So BT's been doing some great work in this space. Other telecoms companies have as well, but there's more that we need to do, not least letting people know that these social tariffs are available and they have the right to access them.
And I should say the Department for Culture, Media and Sports spokesperson said, here's the quote, helping families manage the cost of living is a priority. Following our negotiations, we secured commitments from broadband and mobile companies to offer help to those worried about bills, including more manageable payment plans, switching to a cheaper package free of charge, and a range of affordable social tariffs. We urge anyone struggling to contact their existing supplier to see what help is available. Hafsha, what are the providers beholden to offer? Like in the way that if you're struggling with your energy bills, energy companies have to listen to you and have to do a payment plan. Do broadband providers have to do the same thing?
No, unfortunately not, and that's a big thing, isn't it? Because if you can't pay for your data, then that's it. You can't pay for your data and you don't have the data, which basically stops you from accessing many different parts of your life. So there needs to be more around this. There needs to be more awareness of the social tariffs. We need more support at small organisations as well, working with some of the most disadvantaged and deprived communities to ensure that we can get that message out. The National Data Bank is a huge support, in that they're providing free mobile data. So we need more support for that as well. We need more organisations, more providers, more telephone companies to sign up for this.
It's a point. We've made it. We have flagged it up. No doubt we will be talking about it again. Hafsha Shaikh from Get Families Talking, thank you very much. Darren Jones, Chair of the Data Poverty Group in Parliament and Labour MP for Bristol North West, thank you very much as well.